A lawyer representing several Dolton Village Board trustees has requested that a Cook County judge hold Mayor Tiffany Henyard in contempt of court for allegedly defying a temporary restraining order. The order, issued last week, prevents 3 newly appointed Dolton officials from assuming their positions, including Ronnie Burge Sr., whom Henyard controversially appointed as the village's police chief, despite trustee opposition. The trustee's attorney argues that Burge is violating the court order by refusing to surrender his keys, badge, and uniform to the village police department. Henyard is also accused of obstructing village administrator Keith Freeman by withholding his keys, badge, and uniform. These actions are part of a broader pattern of defiance that has left Henyard entangled in multiple legal battles and investigations, with mounting pressure from trustees and legal authorities for her to comply with court orders and face accountability for her decisions. A federal grand jury investigation launched in November 2023 has intensified scrutiny on Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. In a recent development, a Cook County judge ruled that newly hired employees are barred from working at Village Hall, citing their appointments as violations of both the Dolton Village Code and the Illinois Municipal Code. Adding to Henyard's mounting legal troubles are allegations related to her housing situation. According to Fox 32, a landlord claims that Henyard and her companion, Sim Woods, have been residing in Henyard's rental property on the 14600 block of South Harvard for the past 3 years. During this period, Cook County reportedly issued an eviction notice against them. The landlord further alleges that Henyard has denied requests for property inspections, and there is an outstanding rent balance of $3,000 block. These revelations have fueled further criticism of Henyard's leadership and raised questions about her personal and professional conduct.
Tiffany Henyard and her boyfriend have been served an eviction notice. The property owner saying the two are months.
Tiffany Henyard faces growing scrutiny as questions about her financial management and political integrity continue to mount. For months, she has evaded direct inquiries regarding an eviction notice filed against her, further fueling doubts about her credibility and accountability as both a leader and a public figure. In a recent interview with Fox 32, Henyard vehemently denied the allegations, claiming she had been making rent payments on time and dismissing the accusations as baseless. However, public records tell a different story, with the eviction notice revealing a pending court appearance scheduled for October 22nd. This contradiction casts serious doubt on her assertions and raises broader concerns about her transparency and trustworthiness as a public official. Tiffany Henyard's handling of her personal and professional responsibilities has come under intense scrutiny, with critics arguing that her actions reflect an increasingly cavalier approach to accountability. This perception has only gained traction amid a series of financial controversies linked to her administration. Adding fuel to the fire, a report by WGN revealed that Henyard organized an extravagant block party in partnership with Thornton Township, costing a staggering $85,000. The lavish expenditure has drawn sharp criticism, especially given Dolton's precarious financial situation and the economic struggles faced by its residents. Set against the backdrop of the village's mounting budget deficit, the revelation has sparked public outrage, with many questioning the appropriateness of such spending and calling for greater financial oversight and accountability. Tiffany Henyard's decision to host an $85,000 block party amid Dolton's financial struggles has been widely criticized as a gross misallocation of resources. Critics argue that the event reflects Henyard's prioritization of personal promotion over physical responsibility. The party, which reportedly drew fewer attendees than expected, is seen as symptomatic of broader issues within her administration, a pattern of poor judgment, extravagant spending, and a disconnect from the financial hardships faced by her constituents. This latest controversy adds to a growing list of allegations of mismanagement, with residents and officials calling for greater scrutiny of Henyard's financial decisions. Coupled with her evasion of inquiries into personal financial issues, including an eviction notice, the scrutiny surrounding her leadership continues to intensify. Tiffany Henyard's ongoing financial controversies and refusal to provide clear answers about Dolton's fiscal health have intensified calls for transparency and accountability. Her eviction issues, coupled with allegations of mismanagement, have placed her political future in serious jeopardy. End quote. Despite her denials and attempts to deflect criticism, the convergence of these scandals has eroded public trust, highlighting a growing divide between her leadership and the expectations of the community she serves. The situation underscores the challenges of governance in Dolton and raises urgent questions about the future of her administration. As these crises continue to dominate public discourse, pressure mounts for Henyard to address the allegations head-on or face potential legal and political consequences. The Bloc Party, framed as a community initiative, has been widely condemned as an extravagant misuse of funds, especially at a time when public frustration over Tiffany Henyard's spending habits is at an all-time high. Residents and officials are questioning both the timing and necessity of the event, given that Dalton is reportedly drowning in debt. While the celebration may have been flashy, many view it as yet another instance of Henyard prioritizing self-promotion over addressing the town's critical financial issues. This incident is the latest in a string of controversies that have plagued Henyard's tenure, further widening the rift between her and the constituents she claims to represent. Critics argue that her actions reveal a pattern of fiscal irresponsibility and a disregard for transparency, all while Dalton's financial situation continues to spiral downward under her leadership. Tiffany Henyard's leadership continues to face intense scrutiny as her inability or unwillingness to provide clear answers about the eviction notice fuels the growing perception that she is unfit to handle the demands of her office. For residents, these issues go beyond mere political scandals. They reflect the deeper challenges faced by a community in urgent need of responsible leadership. With a court date looming and public dissatisfaction reaching a boiling point, Henyard's future as a political leader hangs in the balance. Many now question whether she can restore trust and accountability, or if her tenure will be remembered as a cautionary tale of failed leadership.
Can't get any more bizarre than it does. So Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, she's been accused of using taxpayer money on lavish trips to Las Vegas, luxury vehicles, just last month throwing a street party, and now she's been accused of not paying her.
Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been enlisted by Dalton Village trustees to investigate how Mayor Tiffany Henyard allowed the village's general fund to plunge into a staggering $3.65 million deficit. Preliminary findings have raised serious concerns, with accusations that Henyard significantly inflated the police department's budget. Among the most shocking revelations is a single-day expenditure of $443,000 on Amazon, which critics argue had little to do with departmental needs and more to do with recruiting police officers to serve as her personal security detail. These allegations have intensified calls for accountability, highlighting the growing financial strain on the already beleaguered village. These revelations have only added to Henyard's growing list of controversies, fueling heightened public outrage. According to CBS News, the FBI has now launched its own investigation into Dalton Village Hall, though specific details about the inquiry remain scarce. The involvement of federal authorities has intensified concerns among residents and officials, underscoring the deepening crisis of leadership under Henyard's administration. Critics, including some of her former allies, view these expenditures as part of a broader pattern of fiscal irresponsibility and mismanagement, further eroding public trust and calling her ability to govern into question. Meanwhile, tensions between Henyard and the village trustees have reached a boiling point, with increasing dissatisfaction over her erratic leadership style and alleged misuse of resources. Trustees have publicly condemned her actions as detrimental to Dalton's long-term stability, with one describing the situation as a betrayal of public trust. Amid these developments, a judge has issued an injunction barring Henyard from appointing new village members without trustee approval, signaling a lack of confidence in her decision-making. This legal action highlights the deepening divide between Henyard and the governing body, further immobilizing a local government already grappling with financial and administrative challenges. Despite mounting scrutiny and legal challenges, Henyard continues to dismiss the accusations against her, maintaining that her leadership has been transformative. However, these claims are increasingly at odds with the stark realities facing Dalton, including a rapidly growing deficit, crumbling public trust, and the ongoing federal investigation. The situation highlights the urgent need for accountability and transparency in the village grappling with the fallout of an administration marred by controversy and dysfunction. As the FBI probe deepens and Lightfoot's inquiry unfolds, the true extent of Henyard's impact on Dalton remains to be seen. One thing is clear: her once promising tenure is now teetering on the edge of collapse.
But Henyard is now at the center of the wrong kind of attention. Allegations of corruption and political retaliation being lobbed at her from trustees, business owners.
Henyard now finds herself at the center of troubling allegations involving corruption and political retaliation, with trustees and local business owners accusing her of unethical practices. This situation paints a disturbing picture, with speculation that her own team may be leaking information rather than an outsider or undercover journalist. Sources suggest that Henyard is losing control and has entered a full-blown panic. In what should have been a routine trustees meeting, low attendance led to its abrupt cancellation. Instead of acknowledging this, Henyard made headlines by appointing a new village administrator and attorney. She even brought her lawyer along to criticize the trustees for their absence, seemingly trying to provoke the board into action to bolster her position. Residents have expressed growing concerns that Henyard has turned Village Hall into a high-security fortress, blocking entrances and limiting seating under the guise of security. Recent developments have highlighted a slip in her grip on power. The Illinois Attorney General's office revealed that Henyard's administration violated the Open Meetings Act during meetings in June and July. A dramatic letter addressed to Henyard's mother's home, which turned the situation into a stronghold, further fueled the tension. Despite holding meetings with fewer than 20 attendees, the Attorney General's office deemed the claims of danger a major overreaction, lacking substantial basis. Tiffany Henyard appears to be relying on dramatic tactics to maintain her hold on power, even if it means breaching the law and creating spectacles to rekindle support. In a bid to regain influence, she reached out to her former right-hand man, Keith Freeman, but this move has only fueled suspicions. Freeman, who has a history of legal issues, including accusations of bankruptcy fraud and unlawful retaliation against employees, remains in his role as village administrator, despite Henyard's attempts to distance herself from him. This ongoing conflict, especially in light of Freeman's legal troubles, raises serious questions about the dynamics between the two and their ability to effectively govern the community. Increasing concerns have surfaced following a recent town meeting where not a single board member attended. Henyard seized the opportunity to berate the absence, making a melodramatic declaration against the corruption scandal and suggesting it was simply a propaganda campaign aimed at her. However, one brave attendee directly confronted her, accusing her of stealing from residents. The now familiar face, as the situation continues to unfold, Tiffany Henyard's issues extend far beyond public relations blunders. They are rooted in financial mismanagement and a growing community distrust. Her extravagant spending patterns and questionable tactics have only deepened the divide between her and the residents she is supposed to serve. Henyard's attempts to maintain control have resulted in widespread criticism from residents, and trust in her leadership continues to erode. Reports suggest that she and her inner circle may have incurred over $667,000 in travel expenses funded by town resources. Additionally, claims have emerged that she used her police force to intimidate dissenters, creating an atmosphere of fear surrounding any opposition. The porters have mocked her for believing she could escape the looming consequences of her actions, while her efforts to blame others, including the media, only reveal her growing desperation. Tiffany's days of operating unchecked may soon be over, as rumors about her increasingly precarious position gain traction. Now, at the center of troubling allegations of corruption and political retaliation, Henyard's future in office appears to be hanging by a thread. Local business owners have painted a disturbing picture, with speculation that Henyard's own team may be leaking information, rather than it coming from an outsider or undercover journalist. Sources suggest that Henyard is losing control and is now in full-blown panic. During what should have been a routine trustees meeting, low attendance led to its abrupt cancellation. Instead of acknowledging this setback, Henyard made headlines by appointing a new village administrator and attorney, bringing along her lawyer who criticized the trustees for their absence, seemingly attempting to stir the board into action to benefit her own position. Residents have expressed concerns that Henyard has turned Village Hall into a high-security fortress, blocking entrances and limiting seating, all in the name of security. According to her team, recent developments suggest that her leadership is increasingly erratic. Recent developments have revealed that Henyard's grip on power is slipping. The Illinois Attorney General's office disclosed that her administration violated the Open Meetings Act during meetings in June and July. A dramatic letter addressed to Henyard's mother's home turned the situation into a stronghold. Despite the fact that fewer than 20 attendees were present, the Attorney General's office deemed the claims of danger to be a major overreaction with no substantial basis. Tiffany appears to be relying on drama to maintain her hold on power, even if it involves breaching the law and creating unexpected spectacles in an attempt to regain support. She reached out to her former associate, Keith Freeman, in an effort to rally support, but this move only fuels suspicions given Freeman's own legal troubles. Henyard reached out to her former right-hand man, Keith Freeman, hoping to regain a foothold. However, this strategy has only fueled suspicions, as Freeman has a history of legal troubles, including accusations of bankruptcy fraud and unlawful retaliation against employees. Despite Henyard's attempts to distance herself from Freeman amid these allegations, he remains firmly in his role as village administrator, raising questions about their dynamic. The conflict between them continues to unfold, especially in light of Freeman's legal issues and the growing concerns from the board. In a recent town meeting, not a single board member attended, and Henyard took the opportunity to make headlines, casting blame and further intensifying tensions. Henyard took the opportunity to berate the absence of board members, making a melodramatic declaration against the corruption scandal, suggesting it was merely a propaganda campaign targeting her. However, one brave attendee directly confronted her, accusing her of stealing from the residents. As the situation continues to unfold, Tiffany's issues extend far beyond public relations blunders. They are deeply rooted in financial mismanagement and a growing distrust within the community. Her extravagant spending habits and questionable tactics to maintain control have drawn significant criticism from residents, and public trust continues to erode. Reports indicate that she and her inner circle may have incurred over $667,000 in travel expenses funded through town resources. Additionally, there are claims that she used her police force to intimidate dissenters, creating a climate of fear around any opposition. Supporters have mocked her for thinking she could evade the mounting consequences of her actions, while her attempts to deflect blame onto others, including the media, only highlight her desperation. Tiffany's days of operating without consequence may soon be over, as rumors surrounding her increasingly precarious position continue to intensify and raise serious concerns.